Okay, I'm gonna make a quick video. I just want to share this with you. Alright, on PSIV Friday, I bought this one out the gate, and it's pretty self-explanatory why I liked it. First thing is, it's gapped up over 100%, so that tells me there's a good chance it'll spike out the gate. You know, some would think that it would immediately dump for the simple fact that it is overbought. However, if you look, go back and look, the majority of the times these stocks spike up over 100%. A lot of times, even before they dump, you'll see panic. You'll see like a panic pop short, or you'll just see it squeeze for the simple fact that it has gapped up so high. And then you got people that are chasing this stock. So a lot of people will buy it and chase it and get dumped on. And you just got to get in early and then sell into the quick pop. So that was appealing to me, was the fact that this stock was gapped up over 100%. And then another thing I liked is this $8 area. Okay, as you can see, this $8 area is holding. It coincides with a VWAP, and it held for the majority of pre-market. So that was appealing as well. And if we look at the daily chart, we see that there's a gap to be filled right here at 976. Okay, so now look at the daily. It's holding 8. So it opens. It actually pulls back before it pops. It pops first, okay? It rips out the gate, then it pulls back, holds that $8 mark, and then rips again. That would have been ideal for me, but you know what? I bought it right out the gate. It would have been better for me just to wait for it to pull back a little bit to VWAP and then rip again. Bought for the break. But either way, I got in. It spiked. Here is exactly what I'm talking about as far as that gap. It's a little gap. You can barely see it. However, there's a gap that needed to be filled at 976. So if anything, I was buying right out the gate considering it held 8 because if anything, it could have pushed right here. All right. Either way, there would have been a quick pop. However, as you can see, she ripped. She closed this gap and then she ripped, which means we have a gap close and go. So another thing that I did like about this that was appealing to me to buy out the gate was on the 5-minute chart. Not only you had $8, you had a gap to be filled at 976. You also had the pullback on the 5-minute chart, the setup on the 5-minute chart. So, you know, there was confirmation for me to buy here. You know, I mean, to me, it was just a good trade, a good opportunity to try and catch this move out the gate because it was setting up, you know, just the way I like it, just the way I like it. So, all right, and that's that. But I wanted to share something else. It's about the gap close and go, and it's the halt. It's the first halt right after the gap close and go, and why I think this would have been a great idea to get in for the first halt. And let me share it on the 1-minute chart. As you can see, she came up, she was flirting with the gap, boom, boom, you know, and then all of a sudden, you know, coming off VWAP, she closes the gap, but then she catches the next leg up and holds support, and then she continues to move up. Now, this is beautiful because we now have a gap close and go. Anytime these stocks close the gap, hold support, they catch the next leg up, and they continue to rip. They run for a little bit as a result of the gap close and go. Now, if you see, it got halted right after it closed the gap. We had a close and go with a halt. So I think that's amazing considering this would have been a great play, a great halt to get into. And these halts are fairly easy to jump into. You can see the halt coming a mile away. And I want to share an example on a video. So if we go here and you look, okay, we closed the gap, boom, we held support, and then you seen the halt coming. Usually the first halt is the one you want to get into anyways because the majority of the times they gap up after they get unhalted. However, this is much added confirmation that this stock will gap up after the first halt considering it just closed the gap, held support, and continued to run. So with that being said, let me hit play. I just want to share an example, and I'm going to play it in real time. I want to share an example, you know, of this stock getting halted. These numbers right here, the bids will stack up and the numbers will increase tremendously. And you can see it, man. You got more than a second to get in these halts. You know what I'm saying? I never really mess with them because to me it's more of a gamble. You know, but if you were to get in a halt, the first one would be ideal because the majority of the times they gap up. However, when you see a halt right after a close and go, that's like a buy me signal right there. So here we're gonna hit play. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Alright, I'm hitting play. I have no idea why this isn't playing. What's going on here? Okay. Alright, this is... Alright, I want you to see the numbers stack up. Okay. So we held support. We're holding support at 10, right? Okay, we just closed the gap. We're holding support. She's continuing to run. Alright, tape speeding up. Alright, now watch the bid stack up. So we had a close and go. Now we're going into a halt. This would be a good play to get into. Watch the bids. Here they go. Look at all the time you got. You already know. You can see these halts. You can spot them a mile away. Look at them bids stacking up. Look how much time you could have gotten in. You know, to a certain point you can't get filled, but I mean you had plenty of time. You still probably can get filled. Who knows? But yeah, you see the bid stacking up, and that would have been a great halt to get into. Let's fast forward. As you can see, 1050. Right. Let's look at the bid once it gets unhalted. Let's look. Time is just right. Oh man, it got up to like 11:30. I mean, you're looking at 75-cent move right there. If you know, like I said, you could spot these halts a mile away. You know, once it closed the gap, held support and ripped, and you had a close and go. You know, there's a good chance it can get halted. So therefore, you'd be anticipating that move. You know, so you could have got in for the halt and made like a 75-cent move right there. Good play, good play. But I just wanted to share that with you. It's something I noticed by watching price action and the gap close and go. I really don't see that all the time, but next time I see it, you know, and that's what I'm going to look for. You know, after there's a stock that closes the gap, holds support and rips, I will look for that first halt if it happens shortly after it holds support. So I mean, yeah, just something I wanted to share with you guys. Have an awesome day.